4, how states continue to deal with the pandemic even on the country's birthday. Plus,
we'll show you the economic impact on the University of Montana and the city of Missoula if Griz Football doesn't hit the field this fall.
And thanks so much for spending your 4th of July with us. I'm Matt Holzaffel. In normal times, a Saturday Independence Day would prompt parades, picnics, music, and large gatherings almost everywhere. For many of us detect only shadows of our customary celebrations as America is still battling the coronavirus. Some states have lost a lot of ground, forced reopening, U-turns, and face mask orders. At the White House, there's a crowd and military flyovers. Today, President Trump signed a bill expanding, once again, a financial lifeline to businesses struggling to survive. Tonight, the nation has recorded more than 2,830,000 COVID-19 cases, the death toll nearing 130,000, and worrying signs persist. Lilia Luciano with CBS News is in California with the latest.
America's birthday party only open for takeout, with many restaurants, beaches, and parks closed for holiday celebrations. The coronavirus pandemic worse than ever in the U.S. In almost 40 states, COVID-19 cases are on the rise. Florida again breaking a daily record today with over 11,000 new cases. That's nearly 10 times higher than on the same day just 1 month ago.
Right now, we are heading 1,000,000 miles per hour in the wrong direction.
Miami residents subject to a nightly curfew until further notice. In Texas, urgent public safety alerts issued from 2 counties late Friday, urging people to stay home, hospitals full. Those coming on the heels of the governor finally mandating masks.
This safe standard requires Texans to wear masks in public spaces.
Arizona leads the country in positive test rates. Lines of cars stretching for miles with people waiting to get tested. Across the country, Latinos are hit hardest, with infection rates far outpacing other groups and hospitalizations 4 times higher than among whites. Musicians Isauro Alcala and his wife became ill last month, soon after performing to a small crowd in Reno. Isauro was hospitalized and a few days later died in Sacramento. His daughter Trinidad, heartbroken. She couldn't be by his side because she too was sick.
I wish that they had not gone back to work. I wish that my brother and I would have been able to sustain our parents living while this pandemic happened, but unfortunately, we are an immigrant low-income family that needed to work.
As families across the country continue to mourn and heed precautions, many Americans are just looking for ways to be together. Here, the Santa Monica Pier opened up last week, only to close up again for the 4th. Lilia Luciano, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Back in the Treasure State, we have 33 new confirmed cases of coronavirus to add since last night. A large number of those coming from Yellowstone County. Montana has now gone 11 straight days with 10 or more positive cases. And while that count of 1,176 confirmed cases still puts us at 48th in the U.S., we are closing in on Vermont. Notable there, if Montana were to pass the Green Mountain State, that would be the first time that our state did not have the fewest cases among the 48 contiguous states. Cascade County has seen 34 total cases, 12 of those are active. Lewis and Clark County comes in at 31 total cases, 11 of those are active. The Teton County Health Department is asking anyone who attended the Shoto prom at the Shoto Country Club on June 27th to self-quarantine immediately. They say attendees may have been exposed to a confirmed case of COVID-19. The health department says all individuals that attended the event should self-quarantine until July 11th and seek COVID-19 testing. A number of high-profile Montana Republican candidates are self-quarantining after possible exposure to COVID-19 earlier this week. Montana gubernatorial candidate Congressman Greg Gianforte and his running mate Kristen Juris confirmed Saturday they were self-quarantined after possible exposure from an event in Gallatin Gateway, an event that Donald Trump Jr. and his girlfriend Kimberly Guilfoyle also attended. Guilfoyle later tested positive for COVID-19. A spokesperson from the campaign says both Gianforte and Juris are being tested for COVID-19 and will suspend in-person campaign events pending the results. Today, a spokesperson for Matt Rosedale's campaign for the U.S. House of Representatives said Rosedale has also attended the event and will be self-quarantining regardless of COVID-19 test results. We also confirmed through a spokesperson for Senator Steve Daines that he was not at the event. Well, turning to weather, the threat of severe weather is still not over for some in Montana. Grant Garland joins us now. Grant?
Yeah, Matt, we're actually right now looking at a few of our counties still under a severe thunderstorm warning. Going ahead and taking a look and delving right into the storm. We're looking at our friends out towards east of Glasgow and south of Scobie. So counties like Daniels, McComb, Roosevelt, and Valley are under this severe thunderstorm warning until 10:30 this tonight. We are looking at the severe thunderstorm being near Poplar by 10:20 and by Flaxville at 10:51. So that is going to mess with some plans to go shoot fireworks. Back at home, we are also looking at a few light showers making their way through the area, especially out towards Helena, and a few showers light, though they may be south of Great Falls. Elsewhere, as we take a look at over the last 3 hours, we've been looking at a lot of local storm reports too, and this is all thanks to the severe thunderstorms that have been rolling through, which is why the Storm Prediction Center has issued a severe thunderstorm watch that will last for the next 2 hours until midnight. Back to you, Matt.
All right, thanks, Grant. That rain putting a damper on fireworks. We can actually hear the fireworks right now from here in our studio. Well, the Black Eagle Community Center held their annual Independence Day parade today with a bit of a twist. The event was actually a reverse parade. The floats sat on the side of the road as cars drove through the middle. Those changes made in an effort to keep everyone socially distanced and safe. The parade route included over 20 floats and a long line of cars filled up Smelter Avenue and Black Eagle. Black Eagle Community Center General Manager Greg Scobie says he's grateful for how the community has supported the parade even with the changes.
You know, surprisingly, the community has been in full support of what we've been doing up here. They're excited to see the difference, the change that is entailed with everything. I mean, it's not your traditional parade, which, you know, none of us are fully happy with, but at least it's something. It's something for us to get out and be able to do and still enjoy the festivities of the 4th of July.
And the center will also be having a celebration with food trucks, live music, and fireworks, which continues tonight until midnight. The Helena Boy Scouts held a flag raising for 4th of July today. The flag raising took place at the Old Glory Landmark. According to the Old Glory Landmark Committee, the traditional ceremony with festivities was canceled due to the coronavirus pandemic. That's when Troop 214 decided to step in and hold a special ceremony. The Scouts helped raise the flag, and Capitol High students played the Star-Spangled Banner. The event was private to limit the gathering amount. However, this didn't stop the committee nor the Boy Scouts from celebrating our nation's flag.
Even though everything's being canceled, it's still important that we are staying in here together as a nation, as America, and 4th of July is the perfect time to celebrate that.
Troop 214 has been serving the Boy Scouts of Helena since 1935. Coming up this week, Lewis and Clark County Commissioners approved a plan to move forward with conservation easement for 3,100 acres of land near Helena. Details on that coming up.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 10 o'clock news continues on Montana's News Leader.
This 4th of July, when the food and festivities are over, how do you plan to get home? According to data from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Montana is the 3rd most dangerous state to drive this 4th of July based on the state's amount of fatalities per capita. This year, Montana's traffic fatalities are on the rise with nearly 11% more fatalities compared to last year at the same time. For cities like Great Falls, rideshare shortages only make it more critical to drive responsibly this Independence Day. One Uber driver told MTN if wait times are long, wait a few minutes, then try the app again instead of driving under the influence. This week, Lewis and Clark County Commissioners approved a plan to move forward with conservation easement for 3,100 acres east of Helena. MTN's Alexia Aguayo has the details.
A ranch in the Spokane Hills area east of Helena could soon be under a conservation easement. The easement, if approved, would permanently protect the 3,100-acre Potter Ranch property. The owners of the ranch brought the idea to the Prickly Pear Land Trust, who is helping arrange the deal.
We were trying to come up with ways to keep the place together without having to sell land. I mean, that was our mindset.
The Prickly Pear Land Trust dedicated about 7 years to the Potter Ranch in support of this conservation easement. At the county commissioners meeting on Thursday, the application was approved and now the public comment period begins.
I am bursting with joy. These projects they take years and they're highly emotional for families to discuss things about their estate and about their land, especially when they're generational ranches like this.
The application also includes a request of over $1 million from the Open Lands Bond Fund to assist in securing the conservation easement. PPLT says the main criteria for funds from the bond is to have the owner's main intent of the easement to be conservation.
If that is their number one intention for pursuing conservation easements, we know not only that they're going to be a good partner for us, but they're going to be a good conservation partner promoting public lands and intact ecosystems and things like that long on into the future.
In Helena, I'm Lexi Guayo, MTM News.
And the public has 30 days to comment on the easement as of yesterday. Information on how to leave a comment will be on our website.
Well, fireworks are going off all across the area in the background setting for the continued beautiful sunset here in Great Falls. Don't go away. I'll look at your full 7-day forecast coming up after this break. Welcome back, everyone. Well, we have had a very active day today, especially for after around 1 p.m. That's when we started seeing showers and thunderstorms really firing off. Now, right now, we are looking at this line that has been making its way towards the northeastern part of the state that has allowed for a lot of thunderstorms that have become severe over the last hour. I mean, we were just sending them out left to right. So right now, the counties that are under this severe thunderstorm warning are Daniels, Macomb, Roosevelt, and Valley until around 10:30, and that could be extended in the next couple of minutes. Now, right now, as we do track out the storm and we just updated, we could be looking at the storm making its way towards Poplar by around here in the next 5 minutes. Also getting out toward Flaxville at around 10:50, So heads up, we still have an active night ahead of us, and closer towards home, we are still dealing with also a few showers and even a few thunderstorms still out and about as they make their way towards the northeast. Now, they are still staying south of Great Falls for the time being, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we won't see any fireworks shows impacted, as they should be going off here in the next 15 minutes or so. Now, over the last 6 hours, we have been looking at a lot of storm reports. We've seen storm reports that were around ping pong sized hail, as well as 60+ mile per hour winds that were able to break 4-inch in diameter branches. So, I mean, these storms, they have been able to pack a punch today, and we're still looking at a severe thunderstorm watch until 12 a.m. tonight for a lot of our counties, and Valley County as well as Daniels County. And this is all thanks to the ingredients needed. We had a lot of energy in the atmosphere, as well as we had our winds turning direction as you go up in the air, and that was allowing for some of that hail size to be, well, ping pong ball sized hail. So that's why we were able to see what we did today. And this is, I mean, the Storm Prediction Center, they really kind of had everything spot on, because we saw numerous scattered severe thunderstorms starting off for our friends down towards Hayes and Glasgow over the last 3 hours, with damaging wind gusts, quarter-sized hail for the most part, and frequent lightning. Now, the scene right here, take a look at this. You can just see the fireworks all firing off in the background, allowing for the continuation of a beautiful sunset, and it looks and it feels great out there too. Temperatures right now 65 degrees, winds are out of the west at around 15 miles an hour, so it is setting the stage for a nice night. Temperatures elsewhere 64 degrees in Havre, 69 in Glasgow, 67 in Jordan, and in certain other places in Great Falls. That was one of our stations. Another reading is showing 61 degrees, so temperatures are able to fluctuate. Now, over the next several hours, we will still see the chance for maybe a few thunderstorms, but I don't think that they're going to continue to have that severity that we were looking at with the large hail, but we could still see damaging wind gusts. But as we head throughout the night, we will see our thunderstorms quickly leave, heading out towards North Dakota and also to Canada. Continuing throughout the day tomorrow, things should be beautiful. Looking at a lot of sunny skies, showers and thunderstorms stay south of us for the most part, even though we could see one try and clip the area in Helena. But as we head throughout the rest of the day into Monday morning, we should be looking at a nice start. You can always follow me at Meteorologist Grant Garland on Facebook, as well as on Twitter and on Instagram. Tonight, temperatures will fall down to around the 50-degree range for Helena, Great Falls, 54 in Havre, a little bit warmer out in Lewistown, but in contrast to us at 52, in Glasgow 61. Where for tomorrow's highs, temperatures will be in the upper 70s, 77 degrees in Great Falls, 75 in Helena, 76 in Choteau, 79 in Havre. Out towards Malta, though, and Glasgow, we're going to be in the 80s. Temperatures also warming up to around 71 degrees by 1 p.m. Altogether, though, tomorrow 77 degrees, showers and thunderstorms on Monday and Tuesday, then an isolated chance as we head from Wednesday through Saturday. And that's really the same situation for our friends in Helena, too. Looking at a beautiful day tomorrow, but showers and thunderstorms kick back up on Monday.
All right, thanks, Grant. Well, did you know the nation's largest woodpecker makes its home right here in Montana? In this week's Fish, Wildlife, and Parks Flashback, we visit a family of pileated woodpeckers.
Montana's own original version of Woody the Woodpecker taps for insects to feed its hungry young. As an adult male, with its crimson mustache, it's the largest woodpecker in North America. Males also do most of the incubating and brooding in a large cavity that took a month to excavate. And we've been watching.
There's the cavity.
And although we've been watching it, we haven't seen a thing.
Here, right here, right here, right here. There they are.
It's not just by chance that this nest hole is in a cottonwood tree.
These cottonwoods are very important for providing habitat for them. They provide good nesting and good feeding. These older cottonwoods and that have bugs on them that the pileated need to feed their young.
Of course, woodpeckers peck for insects under the tree bark, but there's also another reason to tap out a tune.
They're announcing their territory, and that drumming sound that they make on a tree is announcing to all birds that this is their territory, stay out.
And finally, our patience pays off with hungry mouths at feeding time.
Excellent, huh?
Bill Thomas, out amongst Montana's Fish, Wildlife, and Parks.
More college football this fall is a possibility, but not a guarantee. After the break, Jack Ginsburg and Kyle Hansen take a deep dive into the financial impact that Griz Football has on the community.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 10 o'clock news continues on Montana's News Leader.
Welcome back. Reach Inc. in Bozeman provides a number of services for adults with developmental disabilities living in the Gallatin Valley. MTN's Gabby Crevitt has the story on how the organization worked around the coronavirus pandemic to make sure they could still host one of the area's favorite 4th of July traditions.
Reach Inc. held its 13th annual Race for Independence run. But this year, it was held virtually. And this is another example of how the organization is working hard to protect their clients during the COVID-19 pandemic. The botters started the run from their driveway. Firecrackers signaled the start of the race, and they were on their way.
We are doing the Reach Race for Independence today at home, to be social distancing from everyone else.
The event is usually one of the biggest fundraisers for Reach, which provides residential, vocational, and transportation services for adults with developmental disabilities in the Gallatin Valley. Reach Inc.'s Community Relations and Development Director says this year the event had to be reimagined in order to keep clients safe and to do their part to reduce the spread of COVID-19.
It's an important event partially because it helps us get people information about what we do, especially because our clients get to be part of it. Also, you know, we need funding. There's a lot of challenges with COVID. There's unexpected expenses. There's a reduction in our income for so many different reasons.
COVID-19 has posed many challenges for Reach's clients since many have health conditions that make them more vulnerable, and safety protocols have come at a high cost.
They love their families and they miss their families, and they have not been able to visit with their families since early March. We have to keep them safe, and there has been advice from the Gallatin County Health Department not to have visitors. We're following that advice.
The botters joined over 100 participants in the virtual run, and all agree now is the time more than ever to show their support.
Well, we're pretty dedicated to Reach in general. I feel like they do a great job of supporting their clients and getting them independent and the ability to have them be productive members of society.
Another way you can help support Reach Inc. is by donating PPE. That includes gloves, gowns, goggles, and most importantly, surgical masks. Reporting in Bozeman, Gabby Crevitt, MTN News.
We're now 65 days away from Griz Football's home opener in Missoula. As questions swirl about the possibility of a season, our MTN sports team took a deeper look into the financial impact Griz Football has on the community.
As the MLB and NBA begin to reboot their seasons, the NFL and specifically the NCAA are looking for ways to secure a safe football season in the fall of 2020. However, with the rise of COVID-19 cases here in Montana and the possibility of no fans to feel the economic side of things, Griz Football is still in the air. So what would be the economic impact if there wasn't a football season in Missoula? Our MTN sports team took a deeper look into the financial impact at the University of Montana and beyond. It's no secret that Griz Football is the cash cow at the University of Montana.
Football generates about $5 million in ticket revenue alone each fall.
However, with COVID-19 on the rise again, the university currently has a plan to limit Washington Grizzly to around 18,000 fans per game, with students and season ticket holders prioritized.
Attendance, half attendance, you're probably in the $2 to $3 million range that you're off. And then the situation where there's a canceled fall, you obviously don't have a lot of expenses. We don't travel to Missouri State. We don't go down to northern Arizona, but you're in that $5 million range that you're going to lose.
However, as student athletes around the nation come back to campus, outbreaks have been common, and there's speculation that an NCAA season may not happen or happen without fans in the bleachers at all. While that may be a reality for the NFL and some Power 5 programs in college with lucrative TV contracts, it's a near impossible task for UM.
The worst case scenario from a budget standpoint is if we had a fall where we played football but couldn't have any fans in the stadium. So you have all the expenses associated with football, the travel, the cost to bring teams in non-conference games, but still have those expenses but not have any revenue to make up.
Martin says if the Griz went that route, they would be staring at a $6.5 to $7 million loss in revenue. Not only would that majorly affect the football program, but other athletic programs on campus as well, as the football team helps finance other sports. Big Sky Conference schools like Northern Colorado and Southern Utah have already cut their tennis programs. Well, we've seen what kind of financial impacts we could expect to see here at the University of Montana, but what about across the river in downtown Missoula? Our Kyle Hansen has more.
So now that we've seen what a lost season would do to Griz athletics, what about the community? It's no secret that Griz athletics brings a lot of money into Missoula's economy. So what would that mean for local businesses if the upcoming football season and more were eventually canceled?
According to a study done by the Bureau of Business and Economic Research at Montana, which looked at the impact visitors from outside of Missoula added to the city's economy that otherwise wouldn't be there without football, about $2.53 million were brought in per home game. In terms of athletics as a whole, almost 1,400 permanent jobs are created, nearly $121 million in gross sales or output due to the presence of athletics comes in, and $52.8 million in income of all kinds to Missoula households, of which almost $45 million is after-tax income. Patrick Barkey, the director of Montana's Bureau of Business and Economic Research, who headed this study in 2016, said those are the numbers they found that only include those who visit Missoula and not those who already live in town, and that loss would be felt.
You know, I think the people who come to Griz games are more affluent than the typical visitor. They spend more money. They spend a little more time in Missoula than the typical visitor. Their loss to the economy would be significant.
Not to mention all of the other factors outside of visitors, such as athletes who come to UM and spend money in town, their families on visits, or coaches who are now full-time employees and use their money for local businesses. Merchandise, gas, lodging, and food are all important areas that would be hit if football and other sports were put on hold and visitors didn't come to town. Many places, like the Press Box, which dubs itself the home of the Griz, ride high in the fall when the Grizzlies are around.
It's our bread and butter. It's for the whole weekend. It starts out Friday, and it'll roll through Sunday morning into NFL games, and it's great.
If UM football is a go and no fans are allowed in the stadium, would local restaurants and bars maybe even see a boom since more could flock there to watch on TV if guidelines allowed? Would fans gather outside of the stadium instead? That's tough to predict, but no fans could mean less visitors. And at the end of the day, fewer visitors coming into Missoula means less money added to the local economy. So now, Griz football, athletics as a whole, and local businesses wait with held breath as July begins and each season hangs in the balance.
You know, Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say, and it's going to be hard to come up with a brand new model for sports. to replace the one that we've been following for decades, if not a century, of people piling in the stadiums and cheering their hearts out for the team.
Reporting in Missoula, Jack Ginsburg and Kyle Hansen, MTN Sports.
Heads up, we still have that severe thunderstorm watch in effect until midnight tonight, so make sure you keep a weather's eye out. Just make sure that you're staying safe.
All right, enjoy your fireworks if you haven't seen them already, and a happy 4th of July to you and yours from us and ours. Good night, Montana.